good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am the badass Buddha. Gladiator Guru is coming. She is just fixing up her fabulous self. Good morning, everyone. And the reason, usually we will sometimes come on a little bit late if one of us is running late, but we have such a tight schedule this morning. So Gladiator Guru told me to go ahead and jump on and welcome everybody. And she's going to be, oh my God, isn't that nice? I'm like hiccuping. I'm like burping. What a way to start the day. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Oh my goodness. So yes, we have a tight schedule today because we have a special guest that's going to come on for a few minutes and talk about her upcoming event. But in the meantime, good morning, everyone. Hey, Tiffany Bryan's in the house. Happy Tuesday. We hope that you had an absolutely fabulous weekend. We hope that you were working on yourself this weekend on all those assignments that we gave you, all those conversations. And if you didn't remember what we were talking about, we hope you looked at the videos. If you did not get a chance to rewatch those videos, then watch them this week. They are all going to help you grow for this month. So that is the month of September for Viva Cafe con Leche. It is about taking control and taking action of what? Of your life. So good morning, Leanne. Hello, Milagros in the house. So what we're going to do is while Gladiator Guru is getting ready, why don't you just type in and just put in the chat if you have been working on the stuff that we went over last week. And if you have, how's that been going? And if you didn't get a chance, put that in the chat. Say, I didn't get a chance to do it, but I'm going to get to it this week. But we really would love to hear your feedback, because if you have been implementing what we went over, we want to hear how well you did. Remember, we were looking for pictures to be sent. Now, I'm really slack on checking the messages for Viva, but I think Gladiator Guru is better at that than I am. I don't know if anyone sent anything. So, but I'm going to definitely take pictures myself. I actually have pictures to take. So let me tell you a little bit about how my weekend went. So I've been physically purging lots and lots of stuff from my house. And I made a bunch of piles. I made a garbage pile, a recycling pile, a keep pile, and then a sell pile. And then at some point, this whatever doesn't sell is going to get donated. So I made these piles, and I was set to have my yard sale. Well, I'm set to have my yard sale September 23rd and 24th, a Friday, Saturday. I sent it out to the neighbors to see if anybody else wanted to get involved, because then it's so much better when you have like a neighborhood yard sale, right? It drives more customers. I happen to be driving home on Friday afternoon, and I see a sign down in my little center of town, and it says yard sale, and it's two of my neighbors in the neighborhood. And one of them I know, like I know her well, and I have her on my phone, as a contact. So I text message her. I said, "Is that true? You having a yard sale this weekend?" She goes, "Yeah, just Saturday, 8 to 4." And I said, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Would you mind if I put my stuff out?" She's like, "No, I don't care." So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm just going to throw my stuff out there. What the hell? Why not? Let me see what I can sell, get it organized, because I'm still purging. So like I'm still adding stuff to the pile and intend to do so for the 23rd, 24th. But I thought to myself, if I sell a lot of stuff, then I'm not even going to bother. Like I'm not even going to bother to have the yard sale, whatever. Right. So I don't even put signs out, because I know that people have to go by to get to the other two tag sales. So I just parked my cars. I start throwing stuff out there, right? I'm literally putting like prices on stuff as I go, and people are coming. I'm taking pictures for Marketplace and posting it on Marketplace. And oh, let me see. Milagros is text messaging me. Let me see. Oh, okay. Milagros, thank you for texting me while I'm in the middle of the broadcast. But I'm so glad. That's so wonderful to hear what you sent me. I thought you were going to send me like, we can't hear you. We don't know. We can't. We're not seeing the broadcast because I haven't been able to go on Facebook yet. So good. We'll chat about that. I'm so happy. Good morning, Gail Craft. We're so happy that you're here. So again, Gladiator Guru is coming. So anyway, I put the stuff out there. I had people coming from Marketplace. I had people buying stuff. in the end, between Marketplace and the yard sale, I sold, how much did I sell? I sold $255 worth of items. And I still have people calling about items on Marketplace, and I'm still adding more items, and I'm still going to have the yard sale. So it's interesting that sometimes when you're planning, sometimes when you don't necessarily plan either, you just throw it out there, it works. So I've done that before in my life, and it's always really worked out well for me. So I was happy that did. It didn't really bother me to take that time out. I only kept it open for, we were open from like 8:30 to like maybe 2:30, which sounds like a long day. But the good thing is that everything's ready to go for the next yard sale. So that's the beauty of it. All right. So we are going to, as Gladiator Guru is coming on, actually what we're going to do is we're going to have her jump on, but we're going to bring our guest on right now because this way we get on there for time. And most of you know Lillian. She's a tribe member and she's fabulous and she has her own show. But she has this phenomenal event coming, and we're going to be pushing that event over the next 3 weeks. I think the next Tuesday. There she is. There's the beautiful Gladiator Guru is here. Hey, look, we didn't even plan it, but we're both like totally cleavage this morning.
Good morning, Nancy. Good morning.
So you know what? Let's do this. Actually, now that you're on, I didn't know if you needed a few minutes longer. Let's quickly set the intention, do our mantra. And then we'll get Lillian on. How's that sound?
Are we on time? Do we have time?
Yeah, we have time because we have like 2 minutes. So this is good.
Oh, okay.
All right. So here we go. All right, here we go. I forgot what I was talking about. All right, let's set our intention for Viva. As usual, our intention is to be intentional and
grateful.
I'm grateful for you, Gladiator Guru. And whatever your intention may be, set it in any way, set it multiple times during the day, reset intentions, whatever you need to do, and then always be grateful when you do it. Mm-hmm. All right, let's do our mantra. Here we go. Say it loud, say it proud. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole.
And I am beyond authentic.
And I keep it real.
Yay! All right. So good morning, Gladiator Guru. You look tired. So hopefully your cafe.
Didn't hear my alarm, but here I am. Let's do this.
Popping up like slut magic. Always there. Always present. All right. So let's bring our fabulous guest on, Miss Lillian Maldonado, here to talk about her event. And so Gladiator Guru, you and Lillian can both share that information. Lillian, go ahead. Look at Lillian. Lillian's like a Nubian princess. Look
at Derek. Bo Derek.
Go Derek.
I love it.
How long did it take them to do that?
Like 5 hours.
Holy. Did they serve you while you were there? Did they give you refreshments?
No.
Oh.
Is it going to take just as long to take them out?
I don't know. I plan on starting tomorrow, so we'll see.
You might want to just cut.
Yeah, I'm going to cut most of it off.
Well, we are happy that you kept it on for today because you look gorgeous with them.
Yes.
I love it. All right, Miss Lillian, the show, the floor is yours for the next 10 minutes. Tell everybody why you're here and what you're promoting, and go for it.
So, like she stated, my name is Lillian Maldonado, and I am part of a foundation called Ajusta tu Corona, which means adjust your crown. Where we assist women of adversity, focusing on domestic violence. So every year we have a gala to raise funds. And this year, our chosen charity was Help Now of Osceola. It is a domestic violence center for women. And we're raising funds for them. So it's a very fun-filled, education-filled, emotional-filled event where We have guest speakers. There's great networking opportunities. There are performances. It is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., October 22nd, 2022. And we ask you to join us. We'll be spiritually filled, and you will leave with a good portion of your heart healed. It's just a magical experience. I'm so proud of the event. Margarita's a co-organizer of it, and I can't say enough about it. I actually, to this day, I've been doing it for 5 years, and when I talk about the event, I really get choked up and emotional because it is such a fabulous event. And if you've been there before, please join us. It is in Orlando, Florida, in Winter Park, Florida this year. We've been doing it in Connecticut for the past 4 years. And this year we decided to move it to the South. Every year we will be holding it at a different location. So if you're interested in being a part of it, tickets are on sale. Lori, I sent you the link. I don't know if you can pop it up. It is.
It's in the chat. The clickable link is in the chat already.
Okay, I can't see it. I had such a vacation that I can't remember any of my passwords. So I couldn't get onto the computer this morning to get into my Gmail to click this link. So I'm on the phone and I can't see anything.
Oh.
So Margarita, join me in explaining how emotional and amazing this event is.
But just being there, you know, when you're at an event that's going to service the mind, body, and spirit of humanity, and you see these women wearing smiles that are like $1,000,000 worth, you don't know what's behind that smile, but in that moment, you know, it is the most genuine piece of clothing or jewelry that they're wearing. Me, for myself, I just love to go see the smiles. I love to be a part of it. I love when it brings forth from the depths of pain and tears and whatever trauma has gone on in their lives at this moment. It's just happiness. It's just a innocent joy that comes out from every woman you see there. You know, it's like when we're small, playing dress up, walking in our mom's heels and pearls and the lipstick all over our face, and it's that. And then we captured our kids in it. But this is a real life dress up because everyone's there. Everyone took the time to dress because it was an innate importance to be surrounded by the other women who were participating in this event and who were also just filling the audience with the heartbeats that were needed to make it such a, I don't know. I go there feeling excited, but I leave there like on cloud nine.
Yeah, it has an amazing value. And for those of you that think that the ticket is okay, let me tell you something. What you're getting, the ticket is practically free for what you're going to get out of the event. So everyone is given a gift bag with probably like up to $100 worth of products. We have, like I told you, we have performances, singers, poets, we have activities. So it's not just sitting in the chair and listening to people for hours. No, it's an interactive event. You're going to be a part of it. You're going to feel it. And I can't even explain to you like the joy that the women live with. And let me make a correction. The past 4 years has been for women. This year, I have decided to invite men. So couples are welcome, men are welcomed. And why? First of all, it is a charity event. So I am not going to say no to the men's money. Second of all, I have a show called Conversations with Ajusta Tu Corona. And I have been inboxed by 3 or 4 men who would like to be on the show, who would like to speak about their experience with domestic violence. We just had someone on recently he was a victim of domestic violence. He had been stabbed twice by 2 different partners. So though we focus on women, the men want their voices heard as well. So this is an experience for them to learn about healing And for those that have never been in a domestic violence situation, it will open their eyes and hopefully push them to assist these programs that we are so strong about. So that is why men are allowed this year. They need to know. They need to know what women are going through. We're quick to bash them, and maybe they just don't know. Maybe they need to see it and know what we are experiencing, what we are feeling, the traumas that we are left with. And a lot of them in the audience may be victims themselves. So, as women, we need to understand that they are also victims.
Mhm.
It's not just about us time.
Yes. And that's what's important about it. And that's why, mi gente, share this. Go on to Conversations with Ajuste tu Corona. Lillian will be on Moments for Margarita. You know, October is both Breast Cancer Awareness and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And we will be showcasing both of those. But it is important. You might not be a victim of domestic violence, but somebody you know, somebody you love, somebody that you know may need some bit of information. That's what this is about. You know, it's about being of service to humanity, paying whatever gifts and abundance you've received, paying it forward to somebody in need. That's what Ajusta tu Corona is. So go to the links that were provided by the Badass Buddha. Purchase a ticket. Again, Lillian, if they can't come, what can they do?
If you are not in the Orlando area and don't want to fly in for it, we ask that you graciously purchase a ticket for a women in a shelter. So this year, for those of you that are donating and can't make the actual event, we are going to reach out to the domestic violence shelters to invite the women that are in shelters to attend the event.
Mhm.
So we would be forever grateful if you are not able to make it. You would still purchase a ticket for a woman in need.
Absolutely. And that right there, that catchphrase, since you started saying it since the beginning of this, it just like people like they go, I go weak in the knees. Well, it's like my heart beats a certain way because you know what? There are a million ways we can assist. Let's get curious about those ways. Ajusta tu corona. 10, 22, 20, 22 from 10 to 2. Amazing. That's amazing how it's synchronized for Lillian to do all of that in that amount of time and that date in this year. That means you must come. You have to come.
To date, not realizing how all the twos synchronized for the event.
Yeah. So thank you, Lillian. And
Having me.
no, we will see you on Thursday.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Repetition. Have a great day, Reina.
Thank you. You guys too. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Lillian.
Bye.
So for all of you, you have the clickable link. And if you can't click directly on it, which I'm not sure if you can sometimes but if you can't, just copy it and then paste it into a separate browser and you'll be able to open it, or a new tab, and you'll be able to register. And I think that the beauty of it is that, like, I'm not going to be able to go because I'm actually flying out to California in the beginning of the month, and I can't be like flying back and forth. I've got too much going on. So I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to purchase a ticket and donate. And I think that is the coolest thing. So that's very cool.
It really is, because you know what? It gives people the opportunity. You know, we're all, as with anything, badass. You know, we launched the Badass Story 2, which is amazing. Everybody give a thumbs up in the comments if you've already purchased a book. Own Badass. Her Badass Story 2. The color of the cover itself makes you feel all warm and fuzzy. Everybody has something going. There you go. Everybody has something going on, right? And you know, it's not give because you have. Sometimes when you give and you're at that breaking point as well, that's when you receive the most. That's sacrifice. When we sacrifice ourselves for our fellow humans without hurting one another, ourselves, or the person, I think that's when the abundance opens up. If anybody knows me, anybody who comes visits me in my house, you never leave empty-handed. And I'm only saying that because yesterday someone came and said, I love coming here, but then I just feel like I'm always leaving with something. And it's because, one, I'm purging, but I'm also purging where I'm not just giving person anything. If I have something and I'm talking to the person and their spirit is like vibrant and their energy is like whatever, and I can connect them with something I have, and I give. And sometimes we pour from an empty cup, and everybody will tell you don't do that. But sometimes we have to recognize what it is not to have in order to appreciate other people. And sometimes we know what it is not to have, or we know what it is to need a sounding board, somebody we can depend on, somebody we can escape to, even if it's just for the night. We've all been in certain situations. So whenever you think, wow, I got over that, I got past that, I survived that, think about Ajusta Tu Corona's gala on October 22nd. And if you can't go, the next best thing from you not being present, sharing your smile and setting the harmony with your heartbeat in that room would be to donate a ticket, purchase a ticket, and donate it to somebody who does need to be in that atmosphere on that day. Thank you.
And so Milagros put her badass story in my book. Yes, Milagros is an author in the book. Gladiator Guru and I are authors in the book. Lillian Maldonado is an author in the book. If you haven't purchased your book yet, just go on to Amazon. But if you have purchased your book, we would appreciate you writing a review on it, because that also helps us tremendously by you putting a review into Amazon. We are also going to be having a summit I think it's next week, actually, a Wednesday night. I think it's the 21st. Yeah, it's next week. So we're going to be having a summit at 8 p.m. Eastern time. All the authors will be present. It'll be from 8 to 9:30. You could stay on as much as you like, or as, the whole time or whatever. And you're going to get to meet all the authors, and they're going to share their experiences with you. So it's going to be a really interesting and fun time. And we really hope that you have your book with you when you're there, so that you can ask us any questions or talk about how certain chapters connected with you. So thank you, everybody, for those that have purchased already. Yeah. Love your words. I will donate. Love being there last. Good, Lydia. That's so wonderful.
And your spirit was felt last year, Lydia. Your smile, was just like, oh my God, look at that woman smiling. Your laughter was contagious. Just the joy of you being there with all the other divas was phenomenal. Gracias. I read all the books, both of them, her badass stories. And I don't know who I was talking to the other day. The stories are so different, yet the same, yet different.
Yes.
If you don't understand what I'm talking about, get your copy today. They're all beautiful. Some of them made me cry. Others had me laughing. I just certain things that occurred to them. And all of them just filled me with the sense of gratitude that, one, I'm a woman, that two, that I'm here to share a story, but not only that, but I'm here to share your story, and how the courage within has somehow at different levels in each of our lives have unfolded, where we've reached a part where we're sharing this story for the world to read it with no shame and no guilt, just self-honor. And that's the cultivation of selves. Yep. That's the cultivation of the self-trust, self-belief, self-love, self-respect. And I think that, you just need to read the different chapters. And if you own both books, just go through them, read them, pick them, because there's so many women out there who share similarities. And that's it's just beautiful. So, you have the women sharing similarities in our books that come from all different, parts. And then you have Ajusta Tu Corona, who it don't matter what language, what color skin, you have, how old you are. We all share similarities where we suffered. domestic abuse of some kind, and let's come together and say, I'm bigger than that. I am who I am, not what was done to me. So with that,
we put the link in the comments too for you to purchase the book if you want to just copy and paste that and grab it off of Amazon. That would be great. And also to copy and paste it just to get to Amazon to write a review if you've already purchased. So thank you. All right. So I was hoping while you were still coming on, Gladiator, I asked everybody that if they worked on their stuff this weekend, how did they do? Nobody responded.
well,
I don't think so. Let me see. I think Tiffany. Oh no, sorry, Tiffany did. So Tiffany said, I started purging items that I haven't used in years. If I haven't touched them in years, I don't need it.
Absolutely.
Fabulous. That's wonderful. So we are adding on. So last week we did, what are you not seeing and what are you not hearing? And today's conversation is, what are you not saying? Right? So this is the September taking control and taking action. So we are going to do the same thing today. So the questions are the same. It's just we put a different word in there, right? So the questions for today are, what in your life are you truly not saying? How is it affecting your life? And what are you going to do about it? Okay. So what in your life are you truly not saying? How is it affecting your life? And what are you going to do about that? So let's see. We have some, let's see. I've been working on my son. Okay, great. 3 garbage bags for the women's shelter. Fantastic. This is wonderful.
Well, real quick, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I did come out late. So I just want to say buenos dias, good morning, Tiffany Bryant, Leanne. Where are you? Where are you now, Leanne? Where's Waldo? Milagros, Gail, Arlene, Darlene, Lydia. Lydia was awesome. Desiree, we just love having you on. Melissa.
Melissa, we haven't seen Melissa in a while.
Yeah, so buenos dias, good morning. So I'm happy you're here. Go ahead.
No, so that's it. So let's start with this conversation because we want to make sure that we get a good one in today, because we were chatting yesterday about what to talk about specifically. So let's start. So what in our lives are we not saying? So what does that mean? Gladiator Guru, what does that mean? What are we referring to? Who are we talking to?
What are we not saying? You're asking me to start that when I'm still half asleep.
I have faith in you.
We spoke so much about yesterday. What are you not saying outward means a lot, but and we're going to talk about that. But what are you not saying to self in order to say something outward? Oh, look, she wants to do El Camino with me. I'm going in May, the French way, 30-something days. I'm sorry, Badass, I was interrupted. Can you start?
Oh, it's fine. So the question is, what are you truly not saying? And in your life, what in your life are you truly not saying? And so when we're talking about that, it's 2 parts. What are you not saying to yourself within you? What are you not saying, like admitting to yourself? What are you not saying? And then what are you not saying to those around you? Okay. And sometimes it has to start with, most of the time, actually, it has to start with, what are you not saying to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't know what needs to be said, how the hell are you going to say it to other people? So you have to decide, what am I not saying to myself? And then does that need to be said to other people? Because sometimes you do need to say things to other people. Other times you need to not say things to other people. That by saying, what you know that is going on within you, saying it'll actually make things more complicated. And we talked about that last week about, when you have an idea, sometimes you have to hold that back until you sort of get your footing there, because people have opinions. And so what are you not saying to people? Are you not saying, this is my life, I can live it, you need to shut the hell up? So think about that. Okay. Does that get you started? Does that help?
Well, yes.
Good morning, Georgianne.
Thank you, because, I've been trying to sip my coffee, but Lori says something that's really important. And we speak about that. We speak to each other on certain subjects all the time. And I always come from like we want to say the same thing, but I feel like I don't worry about people, places, and things. We are so when we say, what are you not saying? There's so many people that are not really speaking from a place from within. Yeah, she's ready. You know, you cannot protect and defend yourself if you do not know yourself. So when someone does something, what are we not saying to defend ourselves or to just excuse ourselves from that place? And sometimes we don't know how, because we don't know who we are, how we move inside. So how are you going to move outside? And I'm still kind of stuck. But what I'm saying is, learn who you are.
What are you trying to say? Apparently, you're having trouble saying what
you know. What are you not saying? Like Lori said something about, what are you not saying? Like, to defend yourself, to protect yourself, to be acknowledged, to be accepted, whatever on the outside. But what are you not speaking in the inside? What are you not saying to yourself on the inside? I think that holds the key to every conversation you will have out loud with other people. But we're so busy being busy on the outside, many of us don't know who the hell we are. So you want me to understand you. You want me to accept you, but then you don't know who the hell you are. So what am I really accepting and understanding? And that's my take on it.
I think when we actually acknowledge to the fact that, well, and all of this, no matter what we're saying, what we're not seeing, what we're not hearing, what we're not saying, hearing, and seeing, I think in the end, what's happening is that when we just hold back, we're not true to ourselves, and it affects our spirit, and it affects our a mental, emotional well-being. So all of these all add on to one another. And when you're facing the fact, okay, what am I not seeing? Right. That's right in front of me. What am I not hearing? What am I not saying? It's what am I not dealing with? So this one now becomes the boldness, because you have to say, what am I not saying on the inside? And then you have to say, what am I not saying to all these people out there? And what do I not like? What am I not supposed to say? Like, you have to be bold and talk shit when you need to, and hold back when you don't. And with that, I've got to go out to the bus. So now you're on, girlfriend. You got to take it over. You awake? You got the coffee in you?
A little bit.
Okay.
I got this. But no, because it's what Gail was saying. When you don't walk, the bottom line is, what am I not saying? What are you not saying? A lot of us cannot speak because we don't walk in our truth. So let's just call it like it is. We're so busy building this facade of who we think we want to be, or imitating other people that you may think have it easy in life. So little by little, you go eliminating or distancing yourself from yourself, and then you're mad at the world. So when we came up with this subject, what are you not saying? It wasn't so much, what are you not saying to the person around you? Because at the end of the day, being raised, my father would say, you do it alone, you pay it alone. So you can't hold anybody accountable for what your shortcomings are. So what are you not saying? What are you not saying about yourself? That's how we move forward in life. People say it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I agree with that 1000%. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Do you know who you are? And that would open doors for you always. If we walk in shame of who we are, but then we expect people to respect us and honor us because we're present, what does that say? That you're a hypocrite. Know who you are. That way you know exactly how to protect, defend, and fight for yourself. When you speak with a command where you're not speaking down to people, but you're speaking in authority of who you are. You can't walk in a room and try to own the room, but when you walk in a room, you know you are standing on two solid footings. So what are you not saying to yourself? Are you not telling yourself that you are important, that you are smart, that you are. Period. Every morning, no matter how late. Let me tell you something. I think I got an hour sleep. I could not sleep, toss and turn. My eczema was going crazy. And I tried to force myself to sleep. You know how when we turn everything off and our kids can't take a sleep? Just couldn't. What am I not saying? I have a lot on my mind. There's a lot of changes coming. There was a lot of indecisive decisions that were made. So I guess I couldn't sleep. It was no emotion. I wasn't afraid. I don't think I was. I don't know if mentally. But I still woke up late. And I'm like, oh my God. And I said my 3 gratitudes, praising my Lord before I sat up. I sat up and I'm, good morning. Good morning, Margarita. We're running late. We're going to be fine today. We're going to be great today. I still acknowledge who I am. No matter where I'm at, who I'm with, I'm always telling myself, I am always reminding myself that I am the most important person to myself. No one needs to understand me, accept me, or love me more than I need to do that to myself. So what are you not saying? What are you not saying? Ask yourself that. Say what you feel, behave as you feel, believe what you feel. And then you can speak at any subject, at any level, with anyone. Agreed? Badass?
I agree.
Your turn.
You have to always the only way to really get into this, just like anything that we've been doing, is you got to sit with yourself. You've got to be still, put some nice music on, something that allows you to connect, and then really say like what, and if you have to yell at yourself, like it depends on your practice. You know, if you say, okay, I'm just going to ask myself, what am I not saying? What am I not saying to myself? What am I not admitting to? What am I not saying to other people? And oftentimes that has to do with boundaries, or it has to do with facing something that you don't want to face. What am I not saying? And I deal with this all the time. Like I struggle with that piece of it. And I won't even deny that I still to this day struggle with that piece, because I've never been one, I don't like to say, because I'm not confrontational. And I feel that if something I'm going to say is going to cause confrontation, I tend to hold back. So sometimes you have to sit quietly with yourself, but sometimes you also sit quietly and say, what the fuck am I not saying? Like what needs to be said? What do I have to admit to myself? And then write it down. Like anything, you have to write it down. And then from there, go to the next question. How is it affecting your life? If there's things that you are not saying to other people, is it affecting you in a negative way? Or maybe it is that you are saying too much. Is that affecting you in a negative way? And that actually happened to me last week. I made the very bad choice about a couple of months ago of telling somebody something, and it has continuously bit me in the ass for the last couple of months, till the point where I finally have just had it, because this individual ended up repeating what I said to people that I wasn't ready to tell. And so it was a very beautiful learning experience for me. And then what I had to do was say something to that person. So so the lesson for me was I needed not have said anything to that person. But once I did, and they showed me what what they were all about, then I had to say something to them to call them out on it. So it's a constant growth, within. And if you are that person who's always lived your life as a people pleaser, saying things to other people is not always easy. But the first conversation you have to have is saying it to yourself, because why is it that people have the right to say whatever they want to you, and you don't have the right to defend yourself? You have to ask yourself, what is that? Why do I do that? What is up with that? And so you have that inner conversation. Then you say, how is this affecting my life? If it's affecting me in a positive way, we know that's great. That was like the other two. But like last week, we don't have to focus on that necessarily, but it's the negative. Is this affecting me? It makes me feel lousy. Okay, then what are you going to do about it? For me, what am I going to do about it? I am not going to share anything with that particular individual in the near future, or at all. And then I've also thought about this, that whenever somebody says to me, oh, you should have said this, you should have told me this, blah, 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 I'm going to say, no, I have the right to say what I want about myself and my personal life when I want to say it. And you have to accept that. And then I decided that what I'm going to do about it is educate them on what I'm all about, because I was the people pleaser. And when you're that person, there's this expectation of having no boundaries. People can say whatever they want to you. They have an expectation. They guilt you. They shame you. And now I'm like, nope, now you're going to understand what I'm all about. So that's now what I'm saying to those people, to retrain them. And if they honor it, wonderful. And I'm so grateful. And if they choose not to honor my own words, what I'm saying to them, then fuck it. Fuck them. That's the art of not giving a fuck.
And that's right. And that's a great saying. And what I want to say is, when you learn a certain part of yourself, you have to acknowledge that you have been caring about it wrong for many years. How courageous is that for you to say, ooh, I've been living a lie in myself. I can't believe I've let this go so long. And that is not anything to be embarrassed about, because you know what? I believe in timing, and everything occurs when it's supposed to. You had to learn. You had to go through trials and tribulations to get to a situation that the badass Buddha just went through, that probably happened many times before, but it wasn't time for her to understand it. And now it's time to make a change. Do not compare what you're going with today, what you're choosing to change today, and discredit yourself because you've let it happen before in the past. Everything has a timing, just like when you give birth. And you gotta wait a certain amount of time, and you're gonna go through so many changes. Look at it that way. You know, when you're bringing a life forward, your body went through pain, changes, discomfort. Your mind, your hair started falling out. All of this occurred in that 9-month waiting period. There was nothing you can do. So look at everything you've been through up until now. How it was just the birthing period of your true self. And don't hold your past against you. And don't judge anybody for not being at the same level where you are. Because whatever amount of time it took for you to grow into the person you are today, this badass, it's going to take someone else the same. So when you know what you went through, what are you not saying? You're not saying thank you to God. You're not saying thank you to yourself for waking up for yourself.
Yes.
We have to be grateful of that we had the opportunity to be alive, to be sane, to be capable of moving forward with ease and with grace in our new mentality, in our new emotion. Because then that's when we're going to attract the same like thing. Lillian wrote, what happens when you have no filter and say too much? That's how I lived the majority of my life. That's why Lillian and I have always gotten along with that, because we can tell each other, don't you raise your voice at me. No me grites. And we speak on certain things. And there's really nothing wrong with it, as long as you can accept criticism or constructive criticism. That's what I meant to say.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it, but if somebody's going to have no filter with their opinion on you, you have to know that it means nothing to you. Like, their opinion means nothing to you. Their opinion is none of your business. And it's with the filter comes first the awareness. So if you, like, let's say this is you, if somebody's speaking, like, what if I have no filter? Like, I say too much to people. I've had both. Like, I've not said certain things, and then I've overly shared other stuff, you know? So it's about, first of all, just knowing that it's awareness. You've become aware of the fact that you don't have a filter. So now you say, okay, well, is this a problem? Well, it offends people sometimes. And I don't want to be that person. I want to be a kind person. I don't have to tell them everything that I think about whatever. So then that starts with being present, and it's mindfulness practice. And your favorite word, discernment. It's about thinking it through, feeling it through, saying, do I need to speak this? And Gail said something that piggybacks this. She says, I now check my intentions. If I need to be right, then that is not helpful. So sometimes that's where the lack of filter comes in.
You
People
think
feel
so?
that they have the right to tell you what they think, that they have the right to give their opinion, that they have to correct you. So when you feel the need to jump in without that filter, stop yourself, be present and aware of it, and say, okay, what is my intention behind this? Am I doing it because I really think they need this information? Or am I doing it to secure my own insecurities, making myself look better, guilting the person to knock them down? Because that is what I have learned over the years, is why most people do feel the need to say what they need to say to you. Like, you should. Motherfucker, I don't need this. I don't need this. You don't should on me. You don't need to tell me what I should or shouldn't do. I have to decide for myself. While I could appreciate your commentary, that is not something that I feel the need to deal with, that or to honor. I'm going to work through it on my own. That becomes the inner dialogue or monologue within you. Like what are you saying to yourself? And then going outward, what do you need to say to other people or not say to other people?
Okay, now I'm going to be the devil's advocate about that, because being somebody who's always walked in her truth since as long as I can remember, and coming across idiots or overly sensitive people, or people who have used other people's happenings as excuses as to why they're not growing, they're just complainers. Well, I can't do that because when I was this and this happened, I've never had a filter. We say in Spanish, no tengo pelo en la lengua, meaning I don't have no hair in my tongue. And the way Lillian as well has used it is, we didn't take bullshit. So Gail mentioned something, how she was shushed, or she was told to, right here. I stopped because I was literally told not to speak in meetings, so I shut up. Do you know, Gail, when I was 28, we had this big meeting and the director was in there, all of them, right? And I always sat directly across from the executive director, because I just, I like to watch everything. And I was saying something to the new girl to my left, when to my right, an elderly woman that worked with me shushed me. She shushed me as I was trying to explain to the new girl who had just walked in what subject we were on in the meeting. And in that meeting, I looked at her and I said, don't you ever shush me. And the meeting stopped. And the boss looked at me and I said, no one shushes me. You know why? It wasn't that I got offended that they said that. How dare you disrespect my womanhood? We are women working for an organization. I am not your child. And I don't care if you think you can shush me in a meeting and be okay with it, then you better be okay with me telling you what you cannot do to my person. And I think that's where the no filter comes in from my experience. I don't do it to shine the light, but if you come at me with the smart ass remark, where you say it is where you get it. That's always been my no filter thing with somebody. Don't come over here crying crocodile tears when you know what the hell you did right before you got caught.
But that's different. That's what most of the time when people are speaking with no filter, they're telling you something that they feel they need to say to you, whether it's insulting to you or not. Like, oh, that's what you're wearing today? Like,
well, those are the insecure people.
and that's the discernment piece, is if what you're saying is standing for your truth, you speak up, damn it. Don't say no, don't say anything. Absolutely. But if it is coming from a place of lack, like you are saying this to somebody because you believe you have the right to, and because you are entitled, that, my friends, is disrespectful and bullshit.
It's coming from a place of falsehood.
Yes,
coming from a
correct.
place of insecurity.
Yes.
Now, I've been accused of thinking I know it all, because if I love research, I just love living. I love studying. So for instance, even if it's my family and I see them and they're like going on and on about something that didn't need not even a second of their moments, especially I don't want to keep hearing a repeated story. Guess what happens? I'm like, well, I think, and then I give my opinion, and then I'm told I think I know it all. So I mean,
and then you say, well, I mean, I
do, and you're damned if you don't. Okay, that's why it's so important. Giovanni de Gregorio, look at that, Amici. That's why I say, if you walk in your truth, it really doesn't matter how people perceive you, because you're walking in your truth. So you have no side intentions of pretending to be better than what you really are, pretending to be better of the people you're around, being a showboat, being judgmental to other people when exactly what you're judging about in others is what you're lacking within yourself.
Oh, exactly.
When I fall, because me and the floor have always been best friends, I crack up. And when I look up, people are like, oh my God, my son, when I go out with my son anywhere, and we're walking, like the last time I went out with him when I was in Connecticut, we went to the Bronx Zoo, and we're walking out the car, and he said, Margie, watch your step, don't embarrass me. Because he would get embarrassed because I would always fall, because I would get up cracking up, and anybody who knows how I laugh very loud. So, and I'm like, it's okay. If I wouldn't have fallen, I don't know how many people I probably brought out of a dark space at that moment when they saw me fall and then saw me crack up.
I would have been.
I'm a messenger in this life. So always think about, what is it that you're going through that, oh, I'm embarrassed, or you feel you shouldn't say nothing. We're placed, and God places us in certain areas to be messengers. If you were ever told how many lives you saved just by smiling at somebody at the grocery store, or stopping at a light and looking over into the next car and smiling and acknowledging them, you would be amazed, and you would recognize how important your soul is in this universe. So what are you not saying? Speak up for who you are. Defend those who need you to defend, but walk in your truth, because walking in your truth, not only does it flourish and enhance your life, your organs, every time you smile, it sends something down. The kidney and the liver, they're like, they're cousins, and the liver is the kidney's angry little cousin. But when you smile genuinely for yourself, when someone smiles at you, it sends an invisible message that, you're like, okay, and you walk. And when you walk away, notice you may be skipping, you're holding the door for somebody, because that one smile did something. That's saying something. That's saying, I see you. I acknowledge you. You are important. Same way it makes us. How many times, Badass Buddha, you went to the store because you needed to get away from your house and somebody smiled at you? And it did make a difference. Sometimes we get so stuck in our own bullshit that we really should have let go the minute it happened, that we don't take notice of the blessings surrounding us.
I love what Gail wrote. Gail, I love the fact that you're so Gail is so into this. Like I'm loving the fact that Gail is just jumping on. And Gail in her own right is, she's a coach. Like she is an individual, has her own podcast. And so just shows you that no matter where we are, we're always learning. There's always information that we can get. And I love it. I have no choice but to speak my truth. I really feel the pull of resistance when I don't. Yes. And I know this. I agree with you, because see, Gladiator Guru has always lived her truth. But when you've come from a place where you didn't, and then you finally step up and do, the pull, the resistance, when you still you step back, like maybe somebody triggers you, and it's like somebody from your past, and you start to revert back to that person you used to be. The resistance that you get is palpable. It can actually make you feel a certain way, even feel sick. And that is the beauty of it, is that's the divine's way of saying, hell, no, you are on this great path. Do not step backwards because of this person. Do not step backwards because of the situation. And that is why you have to start talking to yourself again. What are you not saying to yourself? What are you not saying in this moment in time? What are you not willing to deal with? And then sit with it and then move forward, because it can set you back. All the work that you've done, if you don't say what needs to be said or not say, like, what you need to say, but you are not saying it to the other person because you've used discernment to decide, I could say this to this person, but I'm not bothering to say this to this person because they don't need to know my life. That's the inner monologue that you're having within yourself, speaking to yourself, and then deciding what is said on the outside to whom and based on what situation. And that is that taking control and taking action of your life.
Well, I think because I've always been the way I am, I hate, I loathe, and I detect, and I still get offended by fake motherfuckers
Me
and
too.
hypocrites. So whether you're new at this game of walking in your truth, or you were born with the gift of knowing how to walk in your truth, I do feel nauseous. I do have to break away from fake people, break away from sensitive people who want to blame people, places, and things for everything going on with their life, not knowing that it would be easier and make them stronger if they just stood up and evaluated everything and said what it was. I don't really get nauseous. I just walk away. Like, I get angry. Like, I want to punch him in the face, rip out a throat. I used to. I haven't been out lately much, so I'd say a lot of people have been saved. But what I'm saying is, when you walk in your truth, you will be faced with a lot of things. You will be tried more than if you were just a hypocrite. That's why fake people can get further away, because nobody wants to mess with them, because what do they have to offer? But when you walk in your truth, it's like spiritual warfare. It's on.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes, absolutely.
And you have to say, not this, not today, Satan, get behind me. Fuck God, I plead the blood of Jesus over me. I had some people over last week, and I was like, I know I had to not hide things, but just rearrange them. Because I don't want them to feel unsafe. I live alone, so I have a bat in some of my rooms. I have in the bathroom is my machete right by the toilet.
Don't give away your hiding places.
It's not hiding, it's in plain sight. You come out of the house, you're gonna see it right there.
You don't want somebody to know that they got to go in the bathroom to get that. So, like, no,
it's not about getting it. It's about me being in the bathroom and somebody trying to get to me. I have something everywhere. Why? Because you always got to be ready. Why? Because when you speak to yourself, you speak loving, kind words, right? I'm smart. I am important. You know what? I am beautiful in the size that I am right now. I am beautiful in my aging process because I get to be this age. So, and then you say, I am strong, I am courageous, I am kind to the world. And it doesn't matter who's kind to me, because I know that I carry kindness. And when you carry kindness, you don't need to be a magnet to get it back. You know what it is to be kind. You know what it is not to be kind. So that's where the discernment part comes in. So what are you saying? You are a child of God. You walk in your truth and we have 10 machetes. Do tell. Exactly. So, and I have things all over my house. I can be in any room, and anybody tries to get at me, I have protection in every room in my house, and I know how to use them. Why? Because I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I have survived, and never said, oh, my God, this happened to me. No, this happened to me. And that's why today I rely on my strength.
Exactly.
And I rely on my strength of knowing when to say, hey, badass Buddha, can you give me a hand? That is also a strength.
Oh, exactly. And what happens is you're not on either extreme. You're in this very mid-balanced state when you are truthful to yourself and you speak to yourself and you ask yourself the right questions and what are you not saying, and being honoring to self and kind to self, but tough sometimes too. And it's funny because I was about to say that, and when Gail wrote that, the more you work on your own truth, the better you are at catching these very inauthentic people. So for those of you out there that have been screwed over in the past or even recent past by people who you've learned that they are full of it, they are shysters, disingenuine, inauthentic, whatever, bullshitters, the more you know yourself, the better your radar becomes, because then you start to see them for what they are. Because when we're caught up in our own insecurities and our own bullshit, our bullshit detector is completely off, because it has to be, or else it's going to be going off all the time because our bullshit. Once you step into your own and know your truth, you see your truth, you hear your truth, you speak your truth, then you'll be able to see it in other people. And that is why you also will have the discernment of, when you do say something, you'll know when to say it to somebody, when it needs to be said, and when you don't need to say it. And the power is in whether you say it or you don't, but you are not saying it because you choose not to say it, not from fear, but from truth.
Yes.
And there's a huge difference with that.
Yes.
Absolutely huge difference.
I absolutely love your necklace. That is so true.
You got this for me.
That is, oh yeah, that's beautiful. Let me tell you something. Lydia says she's a loudmouth. She tells it how it is, and she just not say it anymore. Let me tell you something. And Badass Buddha and Lillian and everybody who knows me that has been with me lately, they realize, you know what? I have been a survivor for the majority of my life. I was raised on survival skills, Father Panic Village. I was raised on reading body language, listening to what the person wasn't saying, sudden movements. That's survival mode. And in the last 3 years, I said, no mas, no mas. How you feel about me is none of my business. I'm no longer going to defend myself towards anybody. I am totally and completely walking in my truth. I don't give two shits about your opinions. I'm going to disregard all your negative talk. If you want to imitate me, go right ahead, because there's only one me. You will always show up as the imitator in my life. Before, that used to bother me. Now it doesn't, because I am who I am. I am a goddess in awe of herself in every step that I take. So I'm not surviving anymore. I am just being in my true essence of being. Y el que le guste bien, y si no también. And that's how I maneuver my life. So what am I not saying? What I am not saying at this moment is anything that doesn't have a direct effect to me. I'm going to watch you. If you ask me for advice, this is the new Margarita. I will say, well, I'm looking at it, and I'm going to be the devil's advocate. But if you're just going on and on and on and on, I'm not offering my services for free anymore for them to be disregarded because I'm Margarita and they're so used to me. You understand? What you need to tell yourself is you love yourself exactly where you are right now, that you matter, that what you have to share is important. But again, if you're pouring grain into the water, then it's not going to grow. Pour it into the fertilized ground, right? You got to make that distinction. So when you speak from a place that it is comfortable for you to say. That means it is going to be comfortable for anyone to listen to. And that's how you make the impact in your life, because it boomerangs right back to you.
Yep. And what are you not saying? There's some very simple sentences that you can start out with. No is a complete sentence.
All day. And worldwide.
Yes is a complete sentence. Okay is a complete sentence. Like there's some people that do not deserve a full conversation from you either. They ask you a question. You do not owe them an explanation. See, this is where you have that discernment where you say, yes, no, thank you is a complete sentence. I'm done is a complete sentence. That's it. Like, it could be that simple. When you feel that somebody's overstepping their bounds and you are done with the conversation, you say, I thank you and I'm complete. You don't need to finish the conversation. Even if they're saying, well, why, blah, 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 say,
or not, I don't say anything. I'm like, okay, bye.
Yeah. I don't have to explain myself.
No, and that's something. What are you not saying? You're not giving extra explanations. Yes. When you walk in your truth, you say yes, no, Adios, arrivederci, sayonara, namaste, aloha. Say it any way you want, but say it and be done. Say it kindly and effectively. And just be who you are and love who you are and love everything you do. And if there's something about you that you don't love, then you don't need. Fill it with things that you can walk anywhere alone in this world and still be true to who you are. When you become totally naked with yourself, you know what works and what does not work for you. Take that Camino trip. Go take a weekend just by yourself and totally disconnect and discover what fears do you have, what strengths do you already own, and which one you need to hone at a higher frequency. Because you got this. You didn't reach where you are today by accident. And Arlene Kelly, she says she finds that she expressed herself better to herself than to others. Call us, start talking to us. You know how many people don't have the ability to speak and wish they could share so much? You have it. You can see. I'm going to give you everything we've talked so far. You have the gift of vision that goes beyond just seeing something at face value. You have the gift of hearing, and you have the gift of speaking. Hold yourself accountable to those beautiful gifts that you have. Helen Keller has done so much more than the majority of us, and she had none of those abilities.
That's right.
Think about that.
That's right.
Don't shortchange your abilities to be phenomenal. Just be. Search what it is that you like and just do it. Don't give a shit about other people's opinion. Follow your heart. Follow your gut. Follow the spirit that is guiding you. It's not going to get you lost in the forest.
You know what? I had that vision in my head as you're speaking, that the monkeys, right? See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And I was thinking about this and what we're trying to say to you so far between last week and this week's conversation and the one with Gail's conversation the Thursday before we kicked this into play is you have to have your eyes wide open. You have to be able to see the evil. You have to see all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You have to be able to hear it. You have to be able to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. You have to be able to speak the good, the bad, and the ugly. So when they say speak no evil, doesn't mean that you go out and unleash this havoc on people. There are some people that you might have to do that to because they might need to be put into their place only because they are treading on your self, your truth, your rights, or maybe you're defending somebody else that is unable at this point in time to defend themselves. But I don't like that hear no evil speak. It's like, why? That's what most people do. They live in this fucking bubble that they don't want to deal. They don't want to deal. They don't want to deal. And I think everybody should have that in their front lawn. Those 3 statues of the monkeys. Yes, we don't care about anything. We don't want to know anything. And then what we're going to do is we still will speak stuff because we're going to take the information we're given and then we're going to spread it out to other people. And you're already poisoning, the water supply. When you step and you say, that's something that I should share because I feel it would be beneficial to people. That's something I really don't need to get involved with and share because it is not going to benefit anybody. It's just going to stress people out. It's going to make a situation worse. I'm going to hold back, not say anything, and wait a moment. And then if it presents to me to say something, then I will. Do you know how much I have done that? I grew up in a household of Italians where everybody knows your business. There's so much drama. There's so much gossip within the family and within the friend dynamic, and I learned the hard way because I said too much because I was that person. And when I decided I didn't want to be that person anymore, and I used discernment to say when, do I repeat that information? Do I have the right to repeat that information? Whose story am I telling? Do I have the right to tell somebody's story? So all these things play in your head, but there's that speaking. You're speaking to yourself. You're that inner monologue, that your dialogue, whatever way you want to say it. But it takes practice, but the more you do it, the faster you get. And then you'll know, okay, I have to, instead of being reactive, I'm going to be responsive. I'm going to take a moment for a second. I'm going to think this through and then decide. And I love it because you kept talking about discernment, and discernment is such an amazing word, especially for this month's conversation, Gladiator Guru.
It really is, and I think Gail said, I frequently say, I can't answer that for you. You need to find your own truth. And that's a fact. We can't seek the truth for somebody else, but we can guide them. So when the badass Buddha and I talk, and she'll ask something, and I'm like, I throw the question right back at her, right? We do that to each other because sometimes they just need to hear themselves. So, and you're right, we cannot answer the questions for people, inner questions, but we have to give them the space and the comfort and the feel of safety when they're with us, because they asked us to say, let's talk about your truths, and get them to bring forward certain truths about themselves that will lead to them finding their own answer. And that's how we assist humanity. And I think, this is phenomenal. What are you not seeing? What are you not hearing? What are you not saying? Keep those in your mind. Today's subject is,
what are you not feeling?
Amen.
And the main questions, how are all of these affecting your life? If it's a negative effect, then what are you going to do about it? Because if we make no change, then we will be the same person tomorrow as we are today. So change starts with us. Change starts today. And it's that definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. Nothing will change. So the first person that we need to listen to, we need to see, and we need to speak to is ourselves. And we need to be truthful, and we need to be so blatantly truthful that even if it sucks and we come out of it thinking about it going, oh God, I feel awful about myself, that's okay. Because with that, you will rise out of that pit. You will wash yourself off, and you will begin your growth. You will begin finding your purpose and your way and the person that you're always meant to be. Or you can choose to live a life where you just stay who you are.
Or you're living a lie. And you're living a pretend lie.
Yep.
There's so many hypocrites out there. It's really ridiculous. They've lied so much, they believe their lies of who they are, and then they want to try to console me, like, go on with yourself. So what are you feeling? What are you not seeing? What are you not hearing? What are you not saying? Thursday says, what are you not feeling? It is all speaking your truth so that you can go out into the world and make a difference. This is all about, how you cannot say people, places, and things and put blame on anything outside of you until you do the work. You're the only person that matters in your entire world aside from God.
That's right.
Not your kids, because if you haven't figured out who the hell you are, why are you saying your kids are the most important thing to you? How could that be if the person that's supposed to be taking care of them doesn't know who the hell they are?
Yeah, because you won't be able to guide them. You won't be able to help them become who they're supposed to be.
It's not this person's fault. It's not people, places, and things. It is you not doing the work, not feeling the pain, not stretching to the point that you're going to pop like that rubber band, but just reaching that limit where you stretched enough to discover you have to do the work, and it is going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be painful. You're going to have to take the Band-Aid off a couple times and put more aqua. Don't be a punk, bitch, and put that little thing. Pour the alcohol, pour the peroxide right on it. Get it done.
Yeah.
Get it done. Only you can. Okay, we went over.
That's okay. We got this. So review. Look back at starting with September 1st, go back to the videos, rewatch them, take notes, answer the questions, do the work. Listen, we are really building up to something big at the end of this month. Okay. We're ending with taking the leap, and there's going to be a conversation that could be quite mind blowing for some of you out there when we have it. So it's important because you are going to be part of that conversation. We need you to be in those comments, saying, what did you learn this month? And what does taking that leap mean to you? So we're building up. We still have, a few more shows before we hit that one. So be a part of this. Don't just be don't just be the spectator here. Be a participant. Be the player in the game. All right. Because this is the game of your life. It's not our life. My life is my game. Gladiator Guru's life is her game. This is your game for your life. So with that, thank you so much, everybody, for coming on and indulging us and staying on the extra time. And we will see you on Thursday with What Are You Feeling? All right. So from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.